Welcome to another edition of Points of Interest, brought to you by the Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce. My name is Paul Boucher. I'm President and CEO of the Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce. And as we do each week, we present you with the events going on in the Upper Valley for the coming week and have a special guest. This week, my guest will be Mike Cryans. He is the County Commissioner for the County of Grafton and is seeking the position of Governor's Counselor to fill the vacant seat with the passing of Ray Burton. And so Mike will join us at the end of the program. But this week, coming up, we have, of course, the weather not being that good. We're having rain, snow, and everything else. So there's a lot of inside activities going on. We have over at the Campion Rink over in West Lebanon on Route 10, almost on the Hanover border, we have the Campion Rink. And they're offering skating all day long into the evening for all types of indoor skating, learn to play hockey, public skating, youngsters, oldsters, and all. And that's at the Campion Rink every day this week up there on Route 10. We have on Wednesday Shadow Puppery Workshop in Lebanon. That's at 6:30 p.m. at Ava Gallery. And that is a workshop with puppet master Larry Reed, and this is appropriate for ages 13 and older. So how to make puppets and that type of thing is the program for this there at Ava Gallery for this particular week. And then we have coming up on Thursday, if you're a railroad buff, the National Railway Historical Society in White River at the Amtrak station is doing a slide presentation, and there is a train in northern Ontario. It's about the other White River Flyer. So I know there's a lot of railway enthusiasts in the Upper Valley, so that is Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. at the Amtrak station in White River. And then we have on Sunday, next Sunday, do a little traveling if you like, jazz on a Sunday afternoon in Grantham. This is at the center of Eastman at the clubhouse, 4 to 7 p.m. And the program features saxophonist Greg Abate. And the program's 4 to 7, doors open at 3 p.m. And as the weather starts clearing and gets a little warmer, outdoor activities are going on as strong. We have a lot of cross-country trails here that's available. You can start with what we call the Rails to Trails. It starts right here in downtown Lebanon, right next to the CCB, the older CCB, and it'll take you all the way to Concord if you're that so inclined. But that is open, it's nice and packed, and it'd be a great walk that way there. And then, of course, we have Whaleback. That's finally opened again. They had a great weekend last weekend. And with more snow and cold weather, they're still making snow and anticipate being at full capacity as far as trails to be opened up real soon. So we're glad to see Whaleback back in operation again. Downtown here in Lebanon, we have Stores Hill ski area, and that has opened also in the evening. And you can see the lights from miles away. It's right downtown here. Wonderful skiing. They've been making snow as the weather's been appropriate for it, plus the snow that we've had. So it's been very, very good. So there's another area that you can get out and do some cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, all within practically the city limits of Lebanon. Coming up later on in the month, we have on Friday, actually it's this Friday, Recycled Percussion. And it is a Great Eastern Radio is presenting that program. That's at the Lebanon Opera House this Friday, the 10th, at 7:30 p.m. And then coming up again, Lebanon Opera House is going to have a very busy month. They Get the Lead Out. It's the American Led Zeppelin, and that's coming on on February 1st on Saturday. And so I would make plans for that because that is going to be a sellout also. So those are some of the programs going on, and of course all of the colleges beginning or will begin very shortly their spring semesters. So if you wanted to take a betterment course, if you will, or a course for credit and eventually get your associate's degree, all the colleges will be starting with Lebanon College, Franklin Pierce, Granite College, River Valley Community College, and Community College of Vermont, and we'll all be starting their courses pretty soon here, either next week or the weekend after. And so they would have you hit their websites and see what the offerings are and see if there's any interest to that. For the business community, SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, will be beginning their workshops, and those begin this particular week on January 9th. They're doing Managing Your Food and Beverage Business. On January 16th, Internet Marketing Fundamentals. And on the 23rd of January, Marketing Through Internet Search Engines. And they've got some going through February. As we get close to those dates, I will present those to you. So if you are interested in managing your food or beverage business, Internet Marketing Fundamentals, Marketing Through Internet Search Engines, simply have to call SCORE at 448-3491 to make reservations for the particular workshop that you want to do. SCORE is also located in we used to call it the National Bank building, it's still a bank, Citizens Bank building and West Park Street, right up on the 3rd floor, if you happen to be by and you want to stop by to do that. And there's all kinds of spring openings at Ava Gallery, different showings that they're having, and they begin on January 17th and they run through February 14th. And the opening reception is on the 17th from 5 to 7 p.m. And they'll give you a snippet of some of the expositions that they're going to be showing there for between now and mid-February. And a lot of these are sponsored by New Hampshire Arts. And there's some great local talent who have their studios upstairs at Ava Gallery and bring all of their items down to the bottom floor to exhibit them. So there's a lot of exhibits. So there's a lot going on between Ava Gallery and Lebanon Opera House. Indoor activities, indoor skating, outdoors with the skiing. So it's a very busy week here in the Upper Valley this week. As I mentioned, our guest this week is Mike Cryans. Mike is the County Commissioner for Grafton County. Been at Grafton County Commissioner for a long time. And Mike is running for the seat of Governor's Counselor to fill the vacancy due to the passing of Ray Burton. And Mike is here to talk to us a little bit about that particular program today. So welcome, Mike, to our show.
Thank you, Paul.
I know you've been here a few times. A little about your background, where you were from, education, that type of thing.
I think before I start there, I think the last time I was here, we were doing a reflections on Ray's life.
We did,
and,
yes.
That was kind of a nice way to sort of end Ray's time. And now it is election time, and we're moving forward. And I grew up in Littleton, which is about 60 miles north of where we sit today. Went to the St. Rose of Lima Elementary School, Littleton High School. Upon graduation from Littleton High School, I went to Springfield College, got my Bachelor of Science in Physical Education, came back to Littleton High School and taught for 5 years, and then I left there to go to the Littleton Savings Bank and served there until the Savings Bank bought Dartmouth Savings Bank. I came down here, and that was in 1982. And so for the last 31 years I've been here, after I left banking I did some financial work, and then for the last 10 years I've run Headrest, which is a small nonprofit that deals with substance abuse and 24-hour crisis hotline. And so that's where I've been. Not too far from where we sit, right?
That's right. We just move around the square, as I mentioned before. And how long have you been county commissioner?
I just started my 17th year.
17th year.
Yeah. In fact, I took the place of Barbara Hill, who was a county commissioner from this district who passed away while serving, and filled her position. And then for the last 8 terms, I've been elected outright.
So it's a 2-year term?
2 years.
2 year term.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I always felt that 2 years, you're just getting your feet wet, and then you're running for re-election again. Always been a proponent of 4-year terms, including the governor. You know, difficult to get programs going, and then, you know, out you go. Do you find similarities in being as a county commissioner to the governor's council?
Well, there's contrasts that come to mind immediately. Because Grafton County is a large county, it is divvied up by population, and I actually only have Hanover, Lebanon, and Enfield in my district as far as how I'm elected. And the rest of the county was divvied up between Ray and Martha, which there was remaining 37 towns. So you can see they each had quite a few. It's sort of like this whole race that I'm participating in now. There are 5 council districts, and yet district number 1 is 2/3 of the state.
Wow.
It's from the bottom. I guess I can put it the best this way. I was at an event down in Claremont, and a guy came over to me and says, "I know how big your district is." And I said, "You do?" And he says, "I live in Newport. I got a hunting camp in Pittsburgh. From my door to the door of my hunting camp is 192 miles. And that doesn't get you the Canadian border."
And that's
So
all would be
that
the
would
district?
that's huge. If you take the state of New Hampshire and basically draw a map, line across the map from Claremont to New London to Laconia to into Stratford County, it's all of Grafton County, all of Coas County, most of Carroll, most of Belknap, most of Sullivan, and a little bit of Merrimack and Stratford. So it's all or parts of 7 of the 10 counties. It's 109 towns, 4 cities. It's big.
It's
big. It's big. And last week last Friday I was in Berlin, in Colebrook, Gorham area, and Whitefield. And you look at that whole part of the district, it's a long ways to get to a certain point. I like the fact that that I'm from Littleton, because I think it gives me a better feel for what goes on, because Coas County is different. But also, the Lebanon-Hanover area is that much different than Laconia, and Laconia is different than Carroll County and North Conway. So each one of the areas has some similarities, but they also have some differences.
We in New Hampshire do not have a lieutenant governor. Who would probably be doing the work of what a governor's council would do. So what are the duties of governor's council?
Sure. Well, there's a variety, and I'm going to start with the one that Ray was the best at, and I will start. Ray, the governor's council, when you look down the items that it talks about, one is to be an advocate for the people of your district. And he was obviously a champion in that with constituent service, encouraging people, probably yourself included, to run for commissions and boards or put your name in, and serve, because that's a great way to give back to your state, because most of those are voluntary. But you approve all of the commissioners that run all the state agencies, Health and Human Services, Department of Transportation. The governor has to get 3 votes. So there's 5 council members. She has to get 3 of those votes. The other thing is it makes a determination on all the contracts. So anything over $10,000, and it's most of the items in the budget. I think Ray has often said on an annual basis he does something like 5,000 votes for different items, and a lot of them are not controversial. They bring in an item and they vote on it and it goes through and stuff like that. We're right here now. We have a local judge, Lawrence McLeod, up for the Superior Court, and he will go through an interview process, a hearing process, and then he will be voted on by the council. So that's another facet of the job that a lot of people don't realize. The district court judges, the Superior Court judges, and the Supreme Court judges are all approved by the council.
Yeah. Quite a task.
Yeah, and it's a big job, and a good friend of mine one day said, I didn't know a lot about it. He said, I knew Ray went to the parades and was here and there, so I took a little time to read about it, and he said it is a huge job. It's a very important part of government. It was designed to be sort of a checks and balance on the governor, and it has continued. There's probably, there's not another one like it. It's the only one. The state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has one, but it's more of a pro forma type thing. This is really you make the decisions.
for all of
Yeah.
the things. And I'm just amazed at the, because Ray had mentioned one time, the number of appointments in this, as you say, for every committee, council, commission, that type of thing, is a myriad. And I think people would remember watching on this particular station, cable access, some of the sessions of the Governor's Council, and we've seen them. And they come in and you see the pile of papers like, and we kill a lot of trees, I guess, but a pile of papers like this, and they have to go through that before, the whole,
Oh,
meeting.
it is, each one of the meetings has quite an agenda, and, obviously, sometimes you don't have those big appointments, but if you have a major appointment, there's a lot of, that person is working with the council to try to get the votes to make sure that they're gonna be able to sail through and make it. They have a new process now with the justices where actually you go through a screening process and they make a recommendation to the governor, but the governor still has to get the votes.
The votes from the, so let's say the labor commissioner's position is up.
Right.
That would be approved by, okay.
That's right.
Is there a open meeting or public hearing at the Governor's Council where people would speak yay or nay on a particular candidate, or is that done before it gets to you?
Sometimes it's done before and sometimes it's after, and the way that's set up now, all the justices have a hearing that people will come in and speak either, yes, this person would be great, no, I have these concerns. Obviously, you have some of the major state agencies that people will weigh in on. Sometimes you'll have one that someone you're just, you'd be lucky to get a call. That's what Ray has told me in the past. It's just, either that person has held a position for a long period of time and people have a lot of confidence, but usually it's those major agencies that all of a sudden you're going to appoint somebody, especially somebody brand new, that a lot of people will weigh in on. And especially if that person has a track record. If they've taken over, let's pick on Health and Human Services, and they've run a big agency and they might have taken positions on such and such, people will come in and weigh on it.
And weigh on that too. Earlier this week, I watched the inauguration of the new mayor in Boston, the first one in 20 years, and it was showing all of the appointments. I mean, I thought he was President Obama with the cabinet positions that he has for state government. And these are all appointed by him. I don't think the legislature, because it's not, it's a city, who approve these, but the commissioners and the secretary of this and that, and it's big government.
And most states work that way, where all of a sudden the governor comes in and he's got a whole list of people he wants in there, and that's how he runs his. In this case, as the terms expire, so they don't all expire at once, and it's not a clean your house. You might have someone that has a 5-year term, and the governor's elected for a 2-year term. They go through that term, and they might even make through the next term. But so a lot of times, especially if the governor only stays 2 years, and that person got nominated before, and they have a long term, they might not even be under what the governor has done.
I'm thinking, for example, is the Secretary of State,
Right.
Who is Secretary Gardner,
Yeah.
and his terms are the same way. If they,
But he's voted on by the legislature.
by the legislature, but sometimes in between governors.
Right. The legislature votes on the Secretary of State and the treasurer.
And the treasurer.
Yeah.
And again, that's like a 6-year term, is it, or?
I think they do 2-year terms.
They do 2 years also? Okay, I was.
I think they're 2
they
years.
do. Of course, candidates always have campaign promises and such like that. Any particular items or agendas or things you're going to bring to the fore?
Well, having sat side by side with Ray for 16 years, I saw the importance of constituent service. And though it's not a lightning rod issue and stuff like that, I think it's so important that the council have soon someone down there that has the vested interest of District Number 1, because it is such a large district. And when I did my tour last week of Coos County, the most common response I got is, "Don't forget us." And I think Ray always kept him on the forefront, and I think the thoughts of possibly being forgotten is not one that they want to live with. There's that big concern that you might be forgotten, and I think that's it, obviously to encourage people to participate in the process and put their names out there, that's important. And, to do all those things that you talked about with the big stack of paper, do that around the table and do your homework and be well prepared.
Prepared for the program. And I'm sure, having been with Ray 16 years, so you did some traveling with him in other than your commissioner area, so you got to know a lot of the people.
Well, you do, you think you do,
Yeah.
but in fairness, until you run for this office, you have no idea how large this district is. I mean, it might be nice to say, oh yeah, I have a pretty good idea. It's eye-opening, because, it's not easy to get to a lot of different places. For instance, one night I was in North Conway, and my wife, I was talking, she said, what time do you think you'll be home? I said, 3 hours after the meetings get over. It's 3 hours.
It's 3 hours.
You go over to Laconia, it's an hour and a half. You go up to Littleton, it's an hour and a half. You go over to Plymouth, it's an hour. It's almost like, and then you get up into Coos County. When I left Colebrook the other day, first of all, you know how cold it was. It was 13 below zero at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that thing was dropping fast. And somebody forecasted, they said they'd heard 35 below. So you've got that to deal with, because no one's ever campaigned for a state elected office this time of year on an ongoing basis. Now, somebody said, well, Ray's always campaigning. I know, but the whole campaign will take place during the middle of winter. It's highly unusual.
Yeah.
And, so you've got the travel, which makes it interesting. You've got the distance, we all know, which makes it interesting. And then you've got occasionally a snowfall or an ice storm like today. Not today, but early in the week they had the cancellation of the schools or the 2-hour delay for the children. You never know what you're going to do.
I hope you have a good car and
do the best I can. And I think that's my promise, Paul, is that people said, Ray's got big shoes to fill. I'm not trying to fill Ray Burton's shoes. Ray did a fantastic job. He was there for 35 years. My goal is to do the best I can. That's all I can offer is I will work as hard as I can to do the best I can. But if somebody said, going to be another Ray Burton, it's not going to happen because, first of all, Ray had a long time to get where he got. And even over his period of time, we've seen a huge growth in the size of this district because the southern part of the population continues to grow and the northern shrinks, so that keeps on being pulled down. And
the issues we see recently where the paper mills have had to cut back on staff because of the high price of natural gas. And that's unfortunate. I mean, the Berlin area certainly needs some help in that regard, and this doesn't help.
Well, and it seems like every time, I was up there and you saw some positive signs, but then it doesn't take much to turn it back a little, because losing 50 jobs or furloughing 50 people for a period of time is tough. It's not like you can say, well, geez, I'll go here and get another job. There's not another job.
There's not sometimes. Yeah. Of course, you didn't mention, but I know you're stranger to campaigning. You worked on Governor Gallen's campaign.
And that's how I started with Hugh Gallen back before he was even able to get elected, when he was running way back in the 66, I think was my first election with him. And then I was involved with the campaigns for governor from 74, 76, and 78. And then obviously it got a little easier when he won.
Yes.
But he was a wonderful mentor. I learned a lot. Just one of those sort of special moments to have someone who was a real guiding light for me. And so that got me started. And then this opportunity to be county commissioner has just been priceless, because to sit side by side with Ray, you learned a lot, but also to put a huge addition on the nursing home, which was needed, to build a new jail, which some people say, well, that's a lot of money. We were one disaster away from a major lawsuit. And I'm glad we knocked down the old jail, because I don't think it was worth putting money into. And now that's the Ray Burton Park. Yeah. We've got a biomass plant that's reduced our oil consumption from 100,000 gallons roughly to 15,000 gallons. Wow. We've got a water tower that'll protect the properties. When we had the major fire before, they were running out of water, and now we've got that there. So it's a good insurance policy. So I look at a lot of things that the county has done, and we've been fortunate, but we stay on top of the buildings. We try to keep them up, because when you get a whole slew of buildings like that, you let them go a little, you can have some problems pretty quickly.
Oh, sure.
And I'm very proud of what we've done at Grafton County, and yet, all of that, and we still, I believe, have the third lowest per capita tax impact.
On the county tax.
On the county, the
tax.
third lowest, and that's after the two largest counties, so that's a pretty nice thing, and, you know, I think we've done a good job up there, and I'd like to continue doing that kind of work at the state level.
I think people around here too, when they get their tax bill, you get your school bill, it's all on one bill, but you get your school tax, your city tax, and then that tiny little one being the county tax. They feel great, you know, it's a small, very small portion.
In most cases, it's like 5 to 8% of your
Yes,
tax bill.
yeah, which is, you know, very, very low. Long-range plan, do you plan on keeping your seat in the commission seat when elected?
Yeah. You know, so much, you know, right now I am so focused on this. It's hard to say what I can do, what I would be able to do, you know, from a variety, whether it's employment, whether it's staying on as a commissioner. You know, it's just, it's
Too early to tell
unfair. You know, I think I want to do run the race, win the race, and, you know, if I can manage everything well, then that's good. If, on the other hand, if all of a sudden I get to the point where I feel that I can't, then I'll have to make some decisions there. But I think it's unfair to try to map out my life before I know what the next stage is going to be.
Sure. So next step, here we are in early January.
Right.
What is the process coming down? Next election is?
January 21st, there is a primary, which I'm the only Democrat, so I will be uncontested, but I encourage people to get out and vote, because if you get out and vote, it will send a signal that we have support. The second thing, on the other side, there will be 3 Republicans running. One of them will win. And when they win, they will meet me. And for the next 7 weeks after that, and then come March 11th, which is town meeting day for those towns that have town meetings. And we will face off on that day, and one of us will win. So at some point, there will be another contender going against me directly, and one of the 2 of us will be the next executive counselor. Then what happens, it's kind of interesting. If you win that, then come June you file again to run. Come September is the next primary.
Is the next primary.
November is the next election. And then you serve out your term through January. Now if you're winning, you will stay obviously for another 2 years. But it's interesting how it all has played out due to the death of Ray Burton.
Yeah, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So you're going to be running a few campaigns between.
You could do a lot of stuff in a very short period of time, and ultimately, you know, it's so quick. You know, the best thing we can do as supporters of Mike Cryans is to raise the visibility, because a lot of people still do not realize there's this going on. I've had people that have said to me, "Oh, I thought the election would be in November like the other elections." No, it's March 11th is the election. And, you know, obviously from a campaign standpoint, if someone wants to put an event on for me, I would love to attend, and they can contact me at 443-1901. And, you know, fundraising is always a big issue. I have to raise money to compete, and anyone that would wish to send a check, they can send it to Cryans for Executive Council, P.O. Box 999, Hanover 03755. So those are the kind of things that people can do and help. But, you know, the bottom line is, please get out and vote on January 21st, and then I definitely need you on town meeting day, March 11th.
March 11th.
Yeah.
And in the interim, there will not be a person named to fill the seat until the election.
Right.
That will stay vacant for. And will business be conducted just the
So
same?
I'll give you an example. Lawrence McLeod.
Okay.
He is up, and potentially he could get approved to be the next Superior Court judge from Grafton County, and not have someone from District 1 vote for him. Because
Okay.
You're right, life does go on. You know, Ray used to have a saying, you die on Monday, you're buried on Wednesday, and you're forgotten by Friday. I don't think that's totally true for Ray, but it's probably fair to say that you die on Monday, you're buried on Wednesday, and life has to go on. And so the 4 counselors right now, the thing that concerns me the most under that scenario is, and it's not, you know, a good person like Tad McLeod having a vote or not, it's the fact that I can't imagine all the needs that have been expressed to Ray each and every day have all of a sudden stopped. And it really, if you're fair about it, since late summer, he's been on, you know, either part two cylinders, four cylinders, whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah.
proper term is, working on that, to all of a sudden slowing way down to the point where he passed away. We used to see all these notes come in, call this person on that. And Ray has often said, what most people don't understand is that what sometimes seems an insignificant request for them is very, very important. And you can't, and I always loved it when he would say, I can't promise you you're going to get the answer you want, but if you don't get an answer, get back to me. Because I would see him follow up, and he's done it for me at times when I've made a request to him, and he'll say, whatever happened? I said, oh, I didn't hear back. He said, he'll pick up the phone. And that's the power of the executive council. You can pick up the phone and make things happen. And, it'll be a while for anyone who can pick up the phone and do what Ray did.
Yeah.
Because he not only could pick up the phone, but by heart, he knew all the
You
phone
knew
numbers.
the phone numbers of
Yeah,
the beast.
yeah.
Call so-and-so and the phone number is,
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
You've seen that so often.
I've seen
haven't
that
you?
more often, yeah. So Michael, we thank you very much for being with
Oh,
us
you're welcome.
today,
You're
and
welcome.
we wish you luck in the upcoming
Thank you.
campaigns.
Thank you.
And the message today is get out and vote. We'll be back next week with another program of Points of Interest. Until then.